conversations in setting boundaries, one. And two, once you've managed that myself, I think I've gotten to a point where I've managed to establish some sort of boundaries, but I'm sort of struggling with, okay, what do I do now? You know, how do I start rebuilding? How do I start reshaping my psyche and having a better relationship with my money now that I've sort of unburdened myself with all, you know, the like, where do I start in rebuilding?
You had two questions there, right? The first question is, how do you start rebuilding? And your first question was? To have those difficult conversations. I think, practically speaking, for me, it was doing the small things. I think the small things are actually what enable the bigger things that then run out of control, right? So, for example, you send money home, and then when you go home, you still buy groceries and duplicate. You send money home, and when you are home, you didn't plan to fix a window, but now you're fixing a window. You are inevitably telling that person that there is finances when there wasn't. You say no, but then you make things available. Those small little daily decisions that we do every day is how I equip myself, by saying no to the smaller things first. And by the time I said no to the smaller things first, I almost became, no, I don't even ask her if it's after the 25th, and it's fine. You know, my mom knows, tell me in advance, but she knows because of the smaller things. Before we even ask the bigger things, please read Atomic Habits if you haven't. I know it's not a financial read, but it has so much to do with money. I think sometimes when we think about completely changing, we think about it in a big picture. Like, set those small boundaries, you know? Something gets finished and you're like, I actually don't have the money to buy it. Oh, I don't. Now they know that it mustn't get finished because you're not going to have the money. So that's how I equip myself. Is I had the smaller talks and conversations first. So by the time I had the big conversation of, I'm not going to build your house, they already knew that, this one, we won't even ask.